Hey everybody, Susan Lazar Hart here with your Ask Susan. Just doing a little do here, your transformational Monday moment. And what a week it's been. One of the things that I've been hearing about is people are asking me about emotional clutter. And so that's what I thought we'd play with today. This month is all about decluttering. And it's really about taking an aerial view of what is it that you're bumping up against? What is it that's creating the barriers for you, your life, your living, your relationships, your money flows, whatever that is for you? That's what we're all about today. And this is all about mindset. It's all about congruent living, about living in harmony with everything you be and do. When you're stuck in clutter, you're stuck in poo. It's not going to happen, right? It's just not going to happen. So again, today's topic is a very sensitive topic. It's one that popped up on our polls. It's about the emotional strain of clutter, the pain of judgment, because judgment is a clutter. You know, anything that pops into your brain and stays there and you keep going over and over again, how come I do this? Why does this always happen to me? That's clutter. That's like trash on your floor that you haven't swept up yet. Because there's no way you can actually begin your new day in a new way if you have to deal with the clutter of yesterday. So we often don't realize that the clutter in our lives is not just physical. It's the harsh words we've heard said to ourselves, that the judgments that have been passed on us, the lack of forgiveness that forms those layers upon layers upon layers of what we call an emotional landscape. Do you ever wonder why you know, people will always say, well, how come I remember all the bad things? Well, it's because you saved them, because you've been taught at a very young age there's a lot more value in the judgments than there are in the accolades, and there is in acknowledging you and the specialness of you. So let's just for a minute, now this is a huge topic, so we're just going to cover a little bit of it. We cover it really way in deep in the Congruent Living Academy, which I will be inviting you to as we roll into September. But right now we're in April. So understanding the trauma of judgment. Let's start there. Each judgment, whether from others or self-imposed, and remember, any judgment you buy is real and true was self-imposed upon you when you were little. You were taught that judgment is the way to go. So it's like a cobweb in the corners of your mind, and these cobwebs catch and hold on to all those thoughts, all those feelings, all those emotions, the pain, the hurt, and the traumas of our past. And let's be honest, these judgments haunt us, right? I mean, that's why we pull in something that happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I wish I hadn't have done that. I wish I hadn't have said that, right? Or you say, no, I can't do this because this always happens. Well, you know, anytime you buy into any of those thoughts as true and real, just get a feeling what it does to your body. You start to contract. You create trauma in the body. So you're not only replaying the trauma that you were taught was you, you're also contracting it into your organs. That's what we call stress. You know, that's why breathing has become so important for people to realize. Take a breath. Relax, ease into where you're asking to go. Don't go rushing crazy blindly, because you're going to hit the judgments, the trauma, everything else that you've rolled up and hid in the back of those cobwebs. So on the outside, we know what clutter is. It's manifest as a home, chaotic workspace, things you need to do, the to-do list. But it's the reflection of the turmoil within. So if you have the clutter within, are you actually going to be able to clear out what isn't working for you? If you've already decided who you're not, can you actually calendar in the days that you're going to get up early and go for a run, or that you're going to eat properly, or you're going to watch your finances, or you're going to, whatever that is that you've decided in choosing, okay, I need to upgrade this part of my life to be congruent. Well, if your insides are always judging you, you see how that it just doesn't work. Because really, Congruent living is about understanding who you are, how you work from the inside out. It's not adding something else and adding something else so that you feel quote unquote motivated. It's about the motivation comes from the desire to know yourself, to thine own self be true. So the judgments, the non-forgiveness, they act like shackles, chaining us to our memories, chaining us to those moments that have long since passed. Those moments aren't thinking about you. So you feel like burdened. Anybody else, can I see a raise of hands with that? Yeah, so you kind of walk around into your life as you grow into your life burdened with all of this trauma and all of this anxiety, and it's you actually paralyze yourself with the clutter, the emotional, mental clutter. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to give you a little exercise to start to regain the power of being you, to reclaim that space, both physically and emotionally. So it starts with the courage to face the clutter head on, that emotional clutter head on, and to recognize the judgments for what they are, echoes of the past that need not dictate our future. So this is what I call the exercise of the forgiveness release. And again, this is something we go much more into depth in the Congruent Living Academy, which I invite you all to come and play with me. And here we go. Get your journal out, piece of paper, whatever that is for you. Take a moment after listening to this. Write down, pick anything that's popping for you. Could be the way you raised your children, could be the way that you were raised, could be an incident that you recall when you were young. Could be something that happened in school, could be what happened in the schoolyard. It could be anything. Just pick one, right? And write down all the judgments and grievances that you're holding on to based on that. Now, I know for myself, if I go to grade 2, we switched schools, it was a new school, and the teacher had us all lined up in our little lines and our desks, and with a math problem on the board. And the line that won, as soon as we had our hands up, we won something. And forever, as soon as I realized that I might not get it, this might not happen, all of a sudden I froze. And our line was always the last line. And I'm still carrying that with me today. I would be if I hadn't learned this tool of forgiving myself, of writing down what it felt like to be that little kid in line on my desk, freezing, not getting it right, worried I wouldn't get it right, and the willingness to actually forgive myself. Forgive myself for not knowing my next best step. Forgive myself for buying into that it was okay to judge myself. It's about forgiving yourself for whatever that is. And what you say to each thing you pop up with is, I'm so sorry you felt pressure to be perfect. I'm so sorry that you couldn't forgive yourself. I'm so sorry you decided that was your job. I'm so sorry you didn't know how brilliant and wonderful and fabulous you were. I forgive you and I release you. Simple process. No more clutter. Now, if you'd like to dive deeper with this one, and you say, oh, I've got some things I need to really work on, reach out to me, and we can go deeper. For right now, it's about learning to be compassionate with yourself. And this includes forgiving yourself. It's not about condoning what happened. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional burden. So as we let go of these judgments and embrace forgiveness, we clear the emotional clutter and make space for who we truly be, what we came here to be and do. Space for new opportunities, healthier relationships, self-discovery. This is how we transform trauma into triumph. It's about being compassionate with ourselves. Yeah. So let me know how this sits for you. Hashtag replay if you're watching this later. I'm really curious. What is it that you need help with in letting go emotionally that would give you the space to then move forward and declutter everything else that you've been asking to clear out to allow more of this magnificent life that you're creating to come in? I'm looking forward to your responses. This is the month for letting go, for taking the time to actually breathe deeply and dive into where your next best step is. You can't do it with clutter in front of you. It's not about jumping over the clutter to get to where you want to go. It's about doing the inner work, which is what congruent living is all about. Until we meet again, live boldly, love greatly, and be that fearless leader you came here to be. Because the world needs more of you and that special sauce that only you have, that only you can be, that you came here to share with the world. You can always contact me. DM me, put it right here. Susan, I need to contact you. And I will reach right out for you. And if you're watching this on our YouTube, share it, like it, send it to a friend, comment. I check in every day. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.